Y'all, grab your snacks, clutch your pearls, and cancel whatever plans you had. Because the so-called sisterhood between Yandy Smith and Rasheeda Frost just crumbled faster than a dollar store wig in a wind tunnel, and guess who's holding the smoking receipt? None other than Tasha K, the messy queen of exposes and courtroom chaos herself, baby. She ain't just spilling tea, she's detonating the whole kettle. Now, let me ask you this, how does a decade-long ride or die friendship turn into a shady warzone overnight? How does Rasheeda, the poster child for silent suffering and stand by your man martyrdom, suddenly act like Yandy was just a background extra in her boutique walkthroughs? And why is Tasha K dragging both of them through the mud like it's fashion week on the devil's runway? Did someone say jealousy, brand sabotage, or a messy little love triangle that got a bit too real behind the cameras? Oh, you think this is just another love and hip-hop scripted moment? Think again. This ain't just drama, this is betrayal, ego, and years of fake loyalty rotting from the inside out. Buckle up, because what Tasha just exposed will have you questioning every reunion hug and Instagram birthday post they ever made. Let's dive in. Now, let's start where the mess began, shall we? For years, Yandy Smith and Rasheeda Frost sold us the illusion of friendship like it was a clearance racket. Pressed boutique polished on the outside, stitched with secrets on the inside. They smiled together on red carpets, co-hosted love and hip-hop reunions like they were bonded for life, and posted endless birthday shout-outs sprinkled with fake love and emoji-filled captions. But baby, behind every filtered selfie was a filter over the truth, and Tasha K just ripped it clean off. According to the bomb she dropped, this friendship wasn't just strained, it was staged. That's right, what fans believed was an unbreakable sisterhood was actually a cold, calculated alliance held together by camera angles, contract clauses, and matching contour palettes. Let's not act surprised, though. We all knew something smelled off the moment Rasheeda started acting brand new in her confessionals. Sis went from, "That's my girl," to "We not even cool like that" faster than Kirk can deny a side baby. And the timing impeccable, because this so-called switch-up just happened to air right around the time rumors about Mendices and a mystery woman were gaining traction. Now, you mean to tell me that Rasheeda Queen stand by your man, First Lady of Forgive and Forget chose this exact moment to shade Yandy out the blue? Girl, if that ain't deflection disguised as diva behavior, I don't know what is. But don't worry, because Tasha K didn't just spill the tea, she brewed it, boiled it, and poured it piping hot with names, alleged text messages, and production tea so scalding even Mona Scott might need burn ointment. According to Tasha, the "we ain't even friends like that" comment wasn't just shady, it was strategic. A calculated PR move designed to protect Rasheeda's image and distract viewers from yet another Kirk scandal that was bubbling in the background. See, Tasha's sources, yes. Those mysterious insiders with no chill, and all the receipts claim Rasheeda was on edge after a brand deal threatened to back out over Kirk's latest alleged motel visit. So what does her boss chick do? She pivots, not by checking Kirk's Snapchat, but by shading the one woman who stood by her through every public humiliation since season 1. Yeah, shall we? Because when Kirk had secret apartments, hot tub slip-ups, and a mystery baby mama nobody signed up for, who was wiping Rasheeda's tears and whispering "you got this" during green room breakdowns? Yandy. While Rasheeda's own castmates were too busy being messy or mute, it was Yandy who picked up the emotional pieces and pieced them back together, so Rasheeda could keep her strong woman brand intact. And how is she repaid? With confessional shades so passive-aggressive it made fans question if they ever liked each other to begin with. But the plot thickens, because it wasn't just one shady moment, it was a whole staged performance. Tasha claims Rasheeda's confessional wasn't spontaneous, it was rehearsed. Rehearsed over brunch with Kendra Robinson, who, let's be real, showed up to the drama like a background singer trying to hit a solo. Now, what Kendra was doing in this situation, nobody knows. Maybe she thought co-signing Rasheeda's "we not friends" moment would make her the next breakout star of the season. But sis, when your own man is Lil Scrappy's cousin in scandal, you might want to sit this one out. And let's not forget the moment that triggered the entire betrayal. The infamous Mendices Snapchat post. Picture this: a blurry photo of a curvy Latina in leopard print pants pops up on his story, with a suspicious caption and no context. The internet did what the internet does, it exploded. Rumors flew, blogs speculated. But before Yandy could even hit post on her denial, Rasheeda was out here in her confessional acting like she just uncovered Watergate. "I don't even think they're legally married," she said with a smirk. Didn't she forget to mail in the paperwork? Ma'am, you stayed married to Kirk after 10 cheat codes, 3 side babies, and more lies than a scripted reunion. But you want to question Yandy's marriage because she chose to protect her assets from a man with a legal past. Projection is loud, and in Rasheeda's case, it's also tone deaf. Because while Yandy was securing her family and building a brand, Rasheeda was busy managing Kirk's midlife crisis. And acting like loyalty means looking the other way. Every time he wanders off to the wrong hotel room, Tasha K didn't stop at throwing shade. She threw blueprints, according to her alleged production source. There's been tension between Yandy and Rasheeda for years. We're talking behind the scenes eye rolls, disagreements over storylines, and jealousy that allegedly started when producers began giving Yandy more favorable edits. That's right, word is Rasheeda hated that Yandy got more screen time, more glam, and more respect. Despite being an outsider from New York, meanwhile, Rasheeda, the so-called OG, felt stuck cleaning up Kirk's mess season after season. With no real narrative of her own besides Boss Chicken Crisis, it gets messier. Tasha's source even claimed that in earlier seasons, Rasheeda pushed to have scenes with Yandy cut short or refrained to make herself look better. Allegedly, there was one incident where a scene showing Yandy giving Rasheeda heartfelt advice was edited out completely at Rasheeda's request. Why? Because it made Yandy look too good. Let that sink in. Imagine asking producers to delete your own friend's compassion just so you can protect your fragile on-screen image. If that ain't reality TV friendship in a nutshell, I don't know what is. And what really set the fans off wasn't just the shade, it was the hypocrisy. How does a woman who's made a career off of forgiving her husband on national television suddenly grow a backbone when it comes to her friend? Social media called it out instantly. One fan tweeted, "Rasheeda been quiet about Kirk's 5-year affair but loud about Yandy's wedding certificate?" Chilly, another wrote, "Yandy wiped your tears, girl, and now you acting brand new." The nerve, even worse, insiders say Yandy was blindsided. She reportedly had no idea Rasheeda was going to throw her under the bus. They hadn't fought. They hadn't fallen out. In fact, they'd just spoken days before filming that confessional, and Yandy, being Yandy, didn't clap back. No shady tweets, no subliminals. She stayed silent, which in a world of reality, TV pettiness is louder than any dragging session on the Shade Room. But silence doesn't mean weak. Oh no, baby, silence means strategy. Because while Rasheeda was busy trying to redirect the spotlight away from her failing marriage, Yandy was allegedly already meeting with her PR team and producers behind the scenes. Tasha claims that Yandy's team is documenting everything, every shady remark, every misquote, every confessional jab. And if this smear campaign keeps escalating, don't be surprised if legal action enters the chat. But here's where things take a turn, because this isn't just about two women falling out. This is about a reality TV machine trying to twist a narrative, and one woman refusing to let herself be the villain in someone else's redemption arc. According to whispers from V1's inner circle, execs were not happy with Rasheeda's comment. Why? Because Yandy's storyline was still developing and Rasheeda jumping the gun forced the editors to scramble, rewrite arcs, and prep emergency confessionals just to contain the damage. One source even claimed there was talk of reshoots just to make sense of the drama Rasheeda stirred up with one line. Think about that, one sentence, one shady smirk, and boom, production chaos. The tea doesn't stop there. Tasha K hinted that Rasheeda's boutique pressed ATL saw a sudden dip in engagement the week the episode aired. Coincidence? Maybe. But fans started tagging her store with captions like, "Do you sell loyalty here?" and "Came for fashion, stayed for the betrayal." Sponsorships? Rumors one of them paused negotiations, not over the drama itself, but because the tone around Rasheeda's image got too messy. She was a safe brand girl now? Not so much. And in the middle of it all, Yandy kept doing what she always does, raising kids, building businesses, and staying silent while the world tried to drag her name through the mud. But that silence? It's not weakness, it's warning. Because while Rasheeda and Kendra rehearse their clapbacks like it's Mean Girls ATL edition, Yandy's plotting her next move like a chess master. And baby, when she finally speaks, if she ever speaks, it's gonna be a checkmate so hard even Mona Scott won't know where to look. Now here's where things get real spicy. Because while Rasheeda was out here rebranding as Queen Petty and sipping tea like it was sponsored content, the internet was losing its collective mind. Fans didn't just drag her, they gutted her. Twitter timelines turned into war zones. Instagram comments became courtrooms, and everybody suddenly had a PhD in loyalty, friendship, and reality TV politics. But let's be honest, they weren't wrong. Because if there's one thing people can't stand, it's a friend who folds under pressure and throws the only person who held her down straight under the nearest reality show bus, and that's exactly what Rasheeda did. But it didn't stop with just shade, oh no, because while she was out here playing reality TV Regina George, Yandy was doing what legends do, keeping receipts. According to sources close to her camp, Yandy didn't just sit back and sip water. She activated the machine. Her PR team reportedly started compiling clips, timestamps, Confessional footage, the whole digital arsenal. You think she's gonna let years of reputation building go down the drain because Rasheeda wants to impress a few bored producers and Twitter bots? Absolutely not. This ain't Yandy's first scandal rodeo. She survived Mendice's legal mess, social media dragging, baby mama wars, and LHH drama for a decade. You really thought Rasheeda could take her out with a single confessional smirk, please? Now, let's pivot to the Snapchat incident that lit this whole firecracker. Remember that blurry, low-light photo of a curvy Latina in leopard pants on Mendice's story? The one with the cryptic work mo caption and a suspicious emoji? Yeah, that wasn't just a random moment. That was the match that burned the bridge, because before that post, things between Yandy and Rasheeda were allegedly cool. Not tight, but cordial. But the minute that snap went viral, Rasheeda jumped on the opportunity like it was a brand deal in crisis. She didn't text Yandy. She didn't ask questions. She didn't even blink. Sis just hopped into her confessional chair, pressed record, and gave us the shadiest performance since Mariah versus J. Lo. And let's not pretend Rasheeda didn't know what she was doing when she questioned whether Yandy and Mendices were even legally married. It wasn't an innocent mistake. It was a direct hit. That statement was prepped, rehearsed, and timed like a season finale twist because that little forgot to send the paperwork rumor. That's ulti. Yandy addressed that years ago. She said on camera that she chose not to file the legal paperwork right away to protect herself and her kids during Mendice's legal battles. Strategic, smart, and frankly none of Rasheeda's business. But of course, when your own marriage is more shredded than Kirk's fidelity, it's easier to attack someone else's and fix your own. Let's break that down real quick. Yandy's decision to delay legal filing wasn't about being shady. It was about survival. Mendices was heading to prison. Financial liabilities were on the line. Meanwhile, Rasheeda married a man who was actively cheating and still gave him the keys to her business, her bank accounts, and probably her social media logins. So who's the real fool here? The woman who protected herself, or the one who kept co-signing chaos for the cameras? And this is where the story gets even nastier, because Tasha K, being the chaos queen that she is, dropped another bomb in a follow-up livestream. She claimed that Rasheeda had been talking about Yandy behind her back for years, allegedly. There were screenshots floating around of Rasheeda in group chats with other cast members, mocking Yandy's brand, her business moves, and yes, even her marriage. Tasha says these aren't recent. This has been bubbling since at least 2020, and if that's true, it means Rasheeda's betrayal wasn't spontaneous, it was premeditated. Now, while those screenshots haven't surfaced publicly yet, the streets are talking, and if what Tasha's sources say is real, Rasheeda might have just burned down the one friendship that kept her relevant outside of Kirk's scandals. Because let's face it, without the Yandy alliance, what does Rasheeda really bring to the table anymore? A boutique? A lukewarm music catalog? A man who cheats on her in 4K? Sis, you were protected by association, and now that safety net is gone. And speaking of protection, let's talk about Kendra, or should we say, the backup dancer in this betrayal performance. Now, why she felt the need to jump in is still unclear. Maybe it was peer pressure, maybe it was desperation, or maybe, just maybe, she thought aligning with Rasheeda would make her look like a real cast OG. But let's be real, Kendra can barely keep her own man from DMING strippers with wedding ring emojis. So what credibility does she have speaking on anyone else's relationship? Her marriage to Lil Scrappy is basically one long deleted scene from divorce court, and yet she wants to critique Yandy's situation. Sis, take a seat and sort out your own storyline before you start hijacking someone else's. The internet wasn't having it either. Fans dragged Kendra so hard, she probably got whiplash. Comments like Kendra worried about Yandy's ring while Scrappy's out here on Tinder. And you the last person to talk about loyalty. Sis flooded every post she made for days. It was brutal and deserved, because if there's one thing reality TV fans hate more than betrayal, it's a hypocrite with bad timing. Meanwhile, back at VH1 headquarters, producers were allegedly scrambling. According to more of Tasha's mysterious sources, execs were furious that Rasheeda took things so far. The plan was to build tension, not drop the entire plot in one confessional. Producers reportedly had a multi-episode arc laid out involving Yandy, Mendices, and the rumored Snap scandal. But Rasheeda's shady grenade ruined the pacing. One insider allegedly told Tasha she jumped the gun. Now we have to rewrite the next 4 episodes to make it make sense. And if you've ever worked in TV, you know, messing with the narrative gets expensive fast. Emergency confessionals were allegedly filmed, new scenes were written, and there's even talk that Mona Scott herself had to sit both Rasheeda and Yandy down for a private meeting to get things back on track. Translation: fix this mess or risk your checks. And if Mona's getting involved, you know it's serious because she loves drama, but not when it messes with the show's bottom line. But here's the wildest twist of all, Mendices. The man at the center of this Snapchat drama apparently had nothing to do with the post. According to a source close to production, the photo wasn't even taken by him. It was allegedly posted by a third-party contractor managing one of his brand pages. And the woman in question, a stylist, not a side chick, not a secret boo, just a woman doing her job. The post was deleted within minutes, but the damage already done. Because while the internet loves scandal, it hates facts. And Rasheeda saw a viral window and dove through it with zero parachute. So now we've got a friendship in ruins, a cast divided, and a fandom that's been fed more lies than Kirk gave Rasheeda in 2016. And through it all, Yandy hasn't said a word, no claps, no caps, no chaos, just silence. And that's what makes this whole thing even more iconic, because silence, when timed right, is louder than any viral tweet. But don't think this is over, not by a long shot. Because in the next chapter of this reality TV takedown, we're diving into the fallout, brand damage, defamation threats, production drama, and the quiet whispers that Mona might be rethinking the cast lineup altogether. You know what they say, when fake friends fall apart, the empire cracks too. We're talking pure disasters, legal whispers, production chaos, and sponsors clutching their pearls like church ladies on Sunday morning. Y'all, Rasheeda might have wanted to air out someone else's closet, but in doing so, she lit her own boutique on fire. Boutique on fire. Let's start with the branding fallout, because remember, this ain't just about tea and drama. These women are walking, talking LLCs. Every appearance, every post, every storyline is part of a monetized ecosystem. And when Rasheeda decided to throw a public grenade at Yandy's marriage, she didn't just attack her friend, she attacked a whole brand. Sources close to the situation say Yandy's PR team immediately flagged the footage for damage control, not just because of the "we're not even friends" line, but because once you plant the seed that someone's marriage is fake, you're essentially calling their entire image fraudulent. And that, darling, is lawsuit territory. Word on the street is that Yandy's team quietly started documenting everything, not just what aired, but what was said in the press, on social media, and in those shady little group interviews that followed allegedly. They even consulted with legal counsel about whether Rasheeda's comments could be considered defamation, and while no suit has been filed yet, the warning shot was fired loud enough for VH1 producers to scramble for cover. Because the last thing this franchise needs is a legal war between two of its most bankable stars. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's brand, let's just say the frost is melting. Fan reactions were swift, brutal, and unforgiving. Pressed ATL her beloved boutique. Instagram comments turned into battlefield trenches. Selling fashion but can't sell loyalty. One user wrote, another posted, "So this is a boss chick energy, betray your bestie for a storyline?" And the shade didn't stop there. Screenshots show a noticeable drop in engagement. The week that episode aired, fewer likes, fewer comments, and definitely fewer Yas Queen emojis. Sis, when your brand is built on being classy and loyal, the moment you show up messy and shady, people notice. But the biggest twist in all this mess? Mona Scott-Young herself allegedly stepped in. Now if you know Mona, you know she lives for drama. But not this kind of drama, not the kind that spills off camera, threatens real reputations, and scares off sponsors. Sources say Mona called a closed-door meeting with both Rasheeda and Yandy to recalibrate the narrative. Translation: stop freelancing the shade and stick to the script, because as much as we love chaos, the real money is in long-term storylines, not kamikaze confessionals that nuke the whole season in one soundbite. But let's not pretend this was ever just about one comment. Tasha K came back swinging, dropping yet another live stream where she claimed Rasheeda's sudden shift wasn't personal. It was strategic, according to her. A brand deal tied to Rasheeda and Kirk was allegedly on thin ice because of new rumors surrounding, you guessed it, yet another cheating scandal. And rather than face the heat again, Rasheeda pulled the oldest trick in the reality TV handbook: distract the audience, shift the focus, make someone else's relationship the topic. And who better than Yandy, with her clean image and complicated paperwork? Now here's where things get even more wild. Mendices himself allegedly reached out to producers and made it crystal clear: no more fake storylines. According to one insider, he told them, if you want to film mess, fine, but don't use my name unless you got proof. And honestly, he's got a point. For all the rumors, no one's produced a single text, DM, hotel receipt, or lipstick-stained hoodie to prove Mendices has done anything foul. Meanwhile, Kirk's receipts have more pages than a Harry Potter novel, and Rasheeda is still standing by him like a brand ambassador for public humiliation. So now let's talk about the reunion. Oh yes, it's coming, and according to the T, It's not gonna be a kumbaya moment, nope. Rumor has it producers are planning a full-blown confrontation segment, with chairs separated for safety, mix on high, and security on standby. One staffer allegedly said, "This ain't a reunion, it's a reckoning. And if Yandy decides to really speak up, bring her receipts, her contracts, her invoices, baby. Rasheeda better come with more than just a one-liner and a side ponytail. And don't even get us started on Kendra. Sis is still trying to find her storyline, and somehow decided the best way to do that was by playing Rasheeda's hype girl. Problem is, no one asked her, fans dragged her into oblivion for jumping in like she's been part of the squad since day one. They were like, girl, your man cheated before the wedding vows were dry, and you want to talk loyalty. It's giving misplaced confidence and delusional sisterhood. Meanwhile, Tasha K's influence in this entire saga, unmatched. She didn't just break the story, she controlled it. Every time the drama tried to cool off, she dumped a fresh gallon of gasoline on it. And whether you love her or hate her, one thing is clear, Tasha had the range, her sources, her timing, her unapologetic delivery. This wasn't just a gossip bomb, it was a full-on media takeover. So where does this leave us now? One friendship torched, one marriage questioned, one cast divided, and one reality TV universe on the brink of a shake-up. There are rumors that producers are considering recasting or spinning off some of the major players. That maybe it's time for Yandy to get her own project. One where she doesn't have to babysit castmates with collapsing brands, or maybe Rasheeda's days as a boss chick are numbered, and the next season opens with her doing damage control for real. But the deeper question here isn't about contracts, sponsors, or tea. It's about loyalty and whether it actually exists in this world, because what Rasheeda did, that wasn't a misunderstanding, that wasn't a slip-up. That was a calculated move to protect her image at someone else's expense. And what did it get her? A fanbase questioning her integrity, a brand under fire, and a friendship in ashes. Yandy, on the other hand, she stayed quiet, she stayed booked, and she stayed classy. And sometimes silence is the loudest clapback of them all. So here's a real takeaway. Fam, in reality TV, your storyline might get you camera time, but your character is what people remember. Rasheeda chose mess, Yandy chose maturity. And now the entire world is watching to see what happens next. Stick around, because in the next episode, we're breaking down the potential replacements for Rasheeda, the rumored reunion brawl, and the secret demons that could expose even more cast members for playing both sides. And remember, in the world of love and hip-hop, loyalty ain't forever. It's just until the next confessional. If your wig's still intact after all that, congratulations, you survived the messiest reality TV takedown of the year. But before you grab your popcorn and start deep diving Rasheeda's old Instagram lives, let's break this down one last time. Do you think Rasheeda's little "we're not even friends" like that moment was just a slip of the tongue? Or a shady premeditated move to throw Yandy under the bus before her own skeleton spilled out? Is Yandy playing it smart by staying silent? Or should she pull a full-blown reunion chair toss and let the receipts fly? And baby, don't sleep on Kendra. The audacity of that woman stepping into a loyalty convo when her man is out here treating commitment like an expired coupon. Chilly, make it make sense. Now we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Rasheeda ever truly Yandy's friend? Or was this whole sisterhood nothing more than a storyline stunt gone wrong? Should Mona Scott step in and mediate the mess, or just let the chaos play out for the ratings? And do you believe Tasha K's version of events? Or is there still more tea brewing behind the scenes? Don't forget to like this video if you're just as shocked, gagged, and entertained as we are. Subscribe if you live for messy exposes and unfiltered breakdowns. And slam that notification bell like Rasheeda slammed the friendship door on national TV, because baby, around here, the drama never sleeps, and neither do we. We're watching every reunion, every confessional, and every shady tweet, so you don't have to. Stay tuned, because the next scandal is already steeping. And trust us, this was just the beginning. See y'all in the next one. Bye.